We just finished Dragon Age Inquisition, and we played through all three of the Dragon Age games. Dragon Age Origins, then Dragon Age 2, and now Dragon Age Inquisition. And I can't believe we made it through all three games in the span of 5 months. I'm very proud. But with that, as wonderful Bioware games do, there are a ton of awesome companions that we've made along the way, and the true meaning of these games is the friends that we've made along the way. Thus, we are going to now rate all of our companions on this tier list, and we're gonna go, and talk about who our favorite companions are, and I rate them and why we're rating them the way we are. So I have to say that I'm basically rating these characters based on how much I enjoyed them as a character, who kind of meant the most to me. The truth is, honestly, there's not a single companion that I can think of in the Dragon Age games that I would say that I hate. I don't hate any of these people. They're all really well-crafted, interesting characters who have been part of your party. So it's hard for me to say that I hate any of them. There's not a single one where I'll say, I disliked them. But, it's still kind of cool to think, okay, who were the ones that made the biggest impact for me? Who did I like the most? Who did I, like the least, and all that kind of stuff. So, with all that being said, I realize there's also a lot of companions on here that are from the DLCs. I am not going to go for DLC companions. I didn't play all of the DLCs. I don't really know them as well as I know the main companions from Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition. So we're going to ignore the DLC, and we're just going to focus on the main companions here. Okay, so I figured we would just kind of just want to go in order from all the games. So I'm going to go through this list here and just go through all of the characters in Dragon Age Origins first. So, oh my god, and Alistair's right here. So, let's just start with the first boy, okay? The best boy in all of Dragon Age. His name is Alistair, okay? His name is Alistair. He's the best boy. And it's so funny because I knew I was going to like Alistair, but I didn't know I was going to love Alistair. And so he was my first Dragon Age romance. And so he has a very, very special place in my heart. He's also extremely funny and charming and just a great companion. I know some people might think he's kind of silly, and they like to pick all of the mean options for Alistair just because he's an adorable puppy. I just think he's the best character, and despite the things that I did to him in Inquisition, he is my first S tier. And so S tier is going to be very, very limited. I want to limit S tier to only the best of the best. And he truly is the best of the best. He is the best of all of us. Alistair is the best. Best boy. Are there really? Apparently there are 56 companions. I had no idea. Half of these faces I don't recognize. So. S tier is invisible on the screen. Oh, it's visible. It's visible for me. Can y'all see it? Oh, okay. You can see it. Okay. Cool. Okay, so Alistair, number 1, S tier. Next, let's go with, Wynn. I see Wynn here. Wynn, who is my healer mom, grandmom. I know, some people don't like to call her grandma because, it's just because she's an older woman. Doesn't necessarily mean she has to be your grandma, but she is very caring and very, she was a really great companion. I happen to recruit her into my party almost every single mission that we did because she was a great healer, but I think there's more to her than just being a great healer. I think she's a very interesting character. I really liked her, and we had our differences in opinions on some things, but I did enjoy talking to her, and I enjoyed her kind of wise insight and input on the world. So I'm going to rate her as a B, not because she's bad. B is not for bad. B just means she's up there, but she's not quite like my favorite companions or my top companions. So next up, let's do Zevran, because I see him here. So Zevran is honestly who I thought I was going to be romancing in Origins. When I first met him, I was like, how can I not? He is the freaking charming elf assassin from Antiva, who, those are all like check marks for my type. But he, honestly, Alistair, just like his little adorable romance just swept me away, so I ended up going for Alistair. But Zevran ended up being one of my favorite companions in Origins, because I just love his Antivan charm, and I'm really happy. You know, the crows are really freaking cool, and I want to know more about the crows. So he made me very interested in the crows. I'm going to give Zevran an A. He is my A tier companion. Next up, let's see who I can find down here. Sten. Sten. Okay, so Sten is like our first introduction to the Qunari, and he doesn't even look like a Qunari. Sten just confuses me. I liked talking to him because he was a very interesting character and different from the rest of the party, so that's why I liked talking to him, but he just didn't seem to get along with anybody, or even me. So I'm gonna give Sten a C, because I just, I didn't really get very close with Sten, but I still, I don't hate the guy, I don't hate him. Sten is the worst. You should read the Dragon Age books and comics and review them on your Twitch or YouTube. Good idea. I actually am planning on reading all of the Dragon Age books, and I should probably read the comics too. I know there's one with Fenris that I just ordered because, So, okay. So that's where Sten is. Let's see. Who else do we got here? Where is... there are more Origins characters. Where are they? Oh, Shale. Okay. Shale is another one who I didn't really get that close with. And it's really funny because there are a lot of Shale enthusiasts in chat. When I was playing Dragon Age Origins, everybody loved Shale. And people are like, Shale's the best. Unfortunately, I just didn't get a lot of time with Shale because I actually ended up recruiting Shale very late in my Origins playthrough, and I just didn't really get to know her that well. She was like the one companion who at the very end of the game, when everybody's kind of saying their final goodbyes to you, Shale was the only one who was like really indifferent about me. So I feel bad because I feel like I didn't get to really know Shale, but at the same time, her early dialogue wasn't really that exciting to me. So Shale is also getting a C. I'm sorry to all you Shale enthusiasts. So next is Oghren. Poor Oghren. Oghren is, he's also kind of low on my list. Man, now that I'm looking at this, I realize that a lot of Origins characters are not that high on my list. And again, it's not because they're bad. It's just because the later games had so many good companions. So I have to kind of bump these guys down a little bit. Oghren was hilarious. I loved interacting with Oghren, especially when he just had his, drunk dialogue. Some would say he's kind of more of a one-dimensional character because he's just, the drunk dwarf. To which I would maybe agree. I liked him. I just, wasn't crazy about him. And also, when you think about the other dwarf that he has to compete with, Varric, as far as dwarf companions go, poor Oghren just can't compete with the best dwarf companion. So I'm going to give Oghren also a C. Now that I'm looking at this, I might actually move Sten down to D because we have nobody in D. And so if I had to look at the three, I'd probably put Sten lower than the other two. Okay. Next up, we have Morrigan. Okay. Morrigan is the best. hands down. She's great. I absolutely loved Morrigan. She was very hard to get along with in the beginning, and anytime I recruited Morrigan into my party, she would always disapprove of every decision that I made. And so that frustrated me about her. However, once I got to become her friend and I did her like loyalty quest and I killed Flemeth for her, she was so cool. Like, we ended up becoming besties. Like, she would call me her friend. I'd love talking to her at the campsite. She's a really interesting character. I gotta say, like, she was great in Origins, but I think she did amazing stuff at Inquisition as well. And oh my gosh, I really loved having her in Inquisition. She's a very interesting character. I don't know what she's doing now. I loved seeing her more motherly in Inquisition. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So I'm gonna give Morgan an A. She's up there for one of my favorite characters. I really like Morgan a lot. Okay, I think so. Then we also have Barkspawn. Okay, I'm not gonna rate the dogs because we all know that the Mabari are all the best boys. Like, and I'm really going on like the depth of the character, and the Mabari don't really have a lot of depth to them. So yes, the Mabari is best boy in Dragon Age Origins. Yes. Okay. So are there any other companions for Origins? Like the main companions? I guess that's it, right? I'm just looking here. Loghain. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I did not recruit... Loghain died in mine, and I let Alistair kill him. So he is not getting rated. I did not have him. Oh, Leliana, duh! Oh my gosh, Leliana! Oh, I'm so used to her in her Inquisition Spymaster form. I totally forgot that she's a companion. That she's a companion in Origins. So, Leliana. Leliana is amazing, and she's just... Oh my gosh. It's weird to think about her because I just finished Inquisition and thinking back to her in Origins. I know we've talked about this quite a bit, how different of a character she is and how much she's grown and matured. I really liked her young innocence and her enthusiasm in Dragon Age Origins. I loved talking to her at the campfire. I loved her shoe obsession. She was my first introduction to Orlais, because in Origins, you do not go to Orlais at all. And everything she was saying, I was like, this place sounds amazing. I want to be an Orlesian. So, I don't know. I really enjoyed her companionship. I didn't recruit her much into my party because I was also a rogue. So, I'm going to give Leliana an A as an A-tier companion. And I definitely like Leliana's character more in Inquisition than I did in Origins, but I liked her as a companion in Origins as well. So that is my Origins rating for all of you. Okay, the S tier is Alistair. The S tier is reserved for very special boys, so that's a very high ranking. That's all I could say. All right, let's move on to Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2, while a lot of people say it's the worst Dragon Age, I think that it had some of the best companions in the entire game. This was another one where I just loved every character, and I loved doing their companion quests. Let's start with Aveline. Aveline, I feel like she is the underrated companion. Nobody ever talks about Aveline. Everybody talks about who all their favorite is. Nobody ever says Aveline is their favorite. But I grew to really love Aveline in Dragon Age 2. I think, she was very much she was trying to do the right thing after losing her husband, and she was trying to kind of make a place in Kirkwall, and I think she did a really good job at that. I genuinely enjoyed talking to her. I loved her leadership. I loved her companion quest when she was trying to swoo that guy in her order or whatever. I really liked Aveline. She ended up very much like Morrigan was in Dragon Age Origins. Aveline ended up becoming like my best girlfriend in the game. So like for me, having a BFF is very important. Morrigan was my BFF in Origins, and Aveline was honestly my BFF in Dragon Age 2. I thought she was a really good companion. And I think that she's very underrated. She's just super cool companion, and I really enjoyed her company. So I also recruited her to the party quite a bit. Next is Bethany, my sister. So I had Bethany, not Carter, because I played a rogue. So I feel really bad for what happened to Bethany in my playthrough. I didn't recruit her to the Deep Roads, so she ended up being taken to Circle Mages. Or Carver, sorry, not Carter. She ended up being taken to the Circle Mages, and I basically never saw her for the rest of the game, except during some of the cutscenes. So, and I honestly, in the first half of the game, I didn't really recruit her much into my party. So I feel like I didn't really get to know my sister. And I feel bad. So, like Shale, I feel like Bethany is a character I didn't get to know that well. So I'm going to kind of put her a little bit low here, unfortunately. Yeah. Sorry, Bethany. Sorry, sis. I'm sorry that you had to go to the Circle of Magi. All right. Next up, let's do Isabella. Isabella is a great character. Isabella was like a refreshing, like such a refreshing character, honestly. I loved her personality, and I feel like we needed that in our group. We needed somebody who was fun and flirty and just awesome. I honestly really liked Isabella. Unfortunately, again, in my playthrough, I didn't give Isabella the best of opportunities. I think I kind of messed up. I didn't get to do some of her quests. I didn't get her approval rating high enough, and she left. She left the party after, the second act. So I didn't get super close with Isabella, but I really liked her character, and I think that she was a very refreshing character for the dynamic of the group, and I really liked her. Yes, you can have a threesome with Isabella and Alistair, and I did not get that, unfortunately. I picked the wrong dialogue. Hey! Raid? Oh, was Diana streaming? Yes, I realized you could also have a foursome, which is wild. You did Isabella dirty, I know. You know what, she was also hitting on Fenris, and that really pissed me off, so she had to go. Okay. Next up, let's do... Oh, God, he's right here. Anders. Anders started here, okay? And he's ending here. If y'all don't know, I'm vindictive as hell. And if you betray me, you will be on my dead to me list, and Anders is on my dead to me list, okay? Anders started so well, and I also was very close to romancing Anders. I flirted with him a little bit in the beginning of the game, and I was like, oh, this looks like a cute romance. Like, I would totally, romance Anders. I really liked, he's a Grey Warden. He likes cats. He kind of has that edgy side to him because he has justice inside of him. And I was like, oh, this is spicing up to be a very interesting character. And you know what? I'm not super pro mage. I'm like, yeah, I ended up being pretty pro mage in all of my playthroughs, but I've never been like extreme mage apologist. I've never been an extreme mage apologist. Anders was always pushing his mage agenda, on me. So I think that there is. Is there two Anders in here? No, there's not. I thought that I had saw a second Anders, that they went by like Anders in Awakening. No, they didn't. Okay. So, anyway, Anders was very close to being a favorite of mine, and then he went and betrayed me like Judas at the end of the game, and that really upset me, and I ended up killing him because you don't cross me. And again, I really liked Anders. He's a tragic character, and I am a sucker for a tragic character who breaks your heart and all that stuff, but I'm also vindictive as hell, so he's on the dead to me list. Okay, and I think this is last, but no, we got Meryl. We gotta go for Meryl. Meryl is great. She's such a sweet little thing, but she just was so. Her loyalty quest made me so mad. The things that she was trying to help her people, and I really respect her for that. I'm not big into blood magic, and so she very much upset me. She upset me. And I did her quest, and it was very upsetting. But I really loved Meryl. She was adorable. She was a sweet little bean, and I wanted to protect her at all costs. Unfortunately, I feel like I didn't do my best at being... I kind of pandered to everything she wanted, and I should have been a little more hard on her. Like, Meryl, you shouldn't be doing this. And it ended up getting her mentor or whomever killed. So... I really like Meryl. I'm gonna put her at B. I don't think she's quite at the A tier for me personally, but she is really sweet, and I enjoyed her company in Dragon Age 2. All right, last but not least, I think here I didn't get this guy. So yeah, I didn't get his DLC. I heard he's kind of an asshole though. Last but not least is my boy Fenris. Fenris is the number one romance for me. My best brooding boy ever. I guess technically Varric would be is Dragon Age 2, right? I don't know. I guess they have him as his Inquisition character, not Dragon Age 2. We'll get to Varric later. Fenris is best boy next to Alistair. The two of them are the best. Fenris is extremely brooding. He has white hair. He's an elf. He gets all of the check marks for Tracy's favorite. I really enjoyed his romance, to be honest. I worked so hard on that romance because I almost screwed it up. Because again, I chose more of a pro-mage playthrough, and Fenris is very anti-mage after everything that happened to him. He deserves to be very anti-mage. So I almost did the rivalry romance with him, but I ended up getting his approval rating up enough that I did the friendship romance. And I was really happy. I was really happy with how our romance ended, and it was very sweet. And Fenris and Hawk forever. I really liked Fenris's character. I liked his companion quest, and I liked him being able to get revenge. Even, he had to get revenge on his sister, which was really messed up, but also really interesting. He had a lot of, internal struggle, and I really just enjoyed watching that struggle. All of the conversations I had with Fenris were just very, I don't know, I just enjoyed talking to him. And, yeah, so... now my Hawk gets to live on with him forever because I saved Hawk. So in my headcanon, Hawk eventually gets back with Fenris, wherever he may be. He also worked really well with my Hawk, and I recruited him to my party all the time because I played a rogue, and he was a fighter, and I feel like the two of us fighting together, it was so romantic. Okay. Yeah, I love his brood and his angst. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I'm just a sucker for it. My favorite part of Dragon Age 2 was the dialogues between Varric and Fenris, where Varric would just hard call out Fenris's brooding. Okay, let's move on to Dragon Age Inquisition, because I think we've covered all of the companions from the first two games. So next up we have... Alright, let's go with Blackwall first. Or Tom Rainier, as I should say. Blackwall, he should also be on the dead to me list, because he betrayed me. Blackwall almost was on the dead to me list for lying to me. However, I feel like his redemption arc was really good. So I genuinely believe that Blackwall wants to do good in this world. And, you know, despite the things that he did in his past, I really liked his character. And I thought he was a really interesting character. So I think I'm going to give him a C. I liked him. Yeah, I liked Blackwall a lot. He had a lot of good in his heart. I feel like he did. I'm glad I spared his life and made him become a Grey Warden. And he makes toys for kids. Like that little dialogue at the end of Trespasser when they talked about Blackwall, I feel like that the one about him actually touched me the most. I thought it was really heartwarming, and that actually bumped him up from a D to a C. So, yeah. All right, Cole. I feel like I'm giving everybody such low ratings. We have no D's and F's. But Cole is not going to be a D or an F. Cole is great. Cole was a character that I didn't really understand at first, but I thought he was very interesting. I feel bad because during his companion quest, I made him embrace more of his spirit side, more so than his humanity side. And now that I'm thinking about it, I should have went with Varric and not Solus. I was being a little like freaking simp for Solus, and Solus was like, oh, he must embrace his spirit side more, and I was like, okay, and I bat my eyelashes at that little... Ugh. So I made Cole embrace his spirit side. And I feel like I don't know if I fully regret it. I still think he's doing good for the world. But I don't know. I don't know. I would like to see what the other option does for him. But I really liked Cole as a character. So he gets a B. Cole's pretty great. He's another one who I just didn't recruit a lot into my party because, again, he's the same rogue as me. Literally a rogue assassin, which is what I play. So I just never really brought him with me on the party. All right, next up is Cassandra Pentagast. Cassandra is great. One of the best characters. Honestly, she would be pretty damn close to an S tier. I recruited her a lot into my party. I loved her since like the very start of the game. She was just really interesting. She's honestly very pious. She tries to do the right thing. And I noticed that from the very start. Like, she's just trying to do the right thing. And I don't know. I really, really liked Cassandra. She's a really good character. And I'm going to put her in A tier. She's honestly very close to S tier. I almost want to put her in S tier because I just enjoyed her character so much. She also just had a lot of great insight for the Inquisitor. I really enjoyed their conversations. And that's what does it for me. If I seek out these characters, you know, when you have your downtime in Dragon Age and you use that time to talk to your companions, I'm always like, who are the companions that I seek out the most? And this is kind of the order of that, you know? I always seeked out Cassandra. I don't know. I just really liked her. All right, next let's do Bull. Iron Bull. The Iron Bull. Oh man, we're gonna have so many A's. Iron Bull is another great character. I mean, everybody always says it. Like, from the minute I started Inquisition, everybody just told me, like, Iron Bull is one of the best characters ever. And I was like, okay. So he had a lot of high praise going into this. Iron Bull had a lot of high praise, and honestly, he lived up to the hype. He absolutely lived up to the hype. I really liked Iron Bull. he's just a really different Canary than Sten, and I really like how different he was. I don't know. I love Iron Bull. And yes, I ship him and Dorian hard. Okay, next up, let's do Vivienne. So Vivienne, I liked her. She's another one who kind of like Morrigan, like she just never agreed with the things that I wanted to do, because I did go pretty pro free mage. So she didn't agree with a lot of the things that I did. I loved her very pompous attitude. I know a lot of people don't like that kind of character, but I tend to, in my RPGs, I tend to play characters who are a lot like Vivienne, who are very pompous and aristocratic and noble. So Vivienne reminded me a lot of the characters that I love to play. So I really liked her. I just feel like, you know, she needed a little bit more. Like her companion quest didn't really do a lot for me. I don't know. It wasn't that interesting. She needed just a little something more to make her more of an interesting character, I feel. But I mean, overall, I still really liked her. So Vivienne's great. I'm very curious what it's like if she becomes divine, because I know that there's an option for her to become divine, and I'm very curious what that entails. So, yeah. Josephine, another great character. There's not a lot to say about Josephine, I feel like. She's just another interesting character. I loved her advisor-ness. I'm going to put her at B also, because she's just great. I liked Josephine a lot, and I love the Antevans. They're amazing. Okay, let's go. Cullen. So Cullen, my romance from Dragon Age Inquisition, my actual husband, Cullen Rutherford. I'm also going to give him an A. Honestly, I thought Cullen was great. I don't remember him much from Origins. I do remember him from Dragon Age 2, and I was like so excited. I was like, oh, Cullen, because I knew he was in Inquisition also, and I knew I was probably going to romance him. So I got all excited. I was like, oh, Cullen. He's just like, he's a sweet character. He's like, in some ways, I notice he's kind of similar to Alistair, the Alistair romance. But it's a little bit different because Alistair is a little more innocent, I feel. Cullen has seen a lot more, and, you know, his red lyrium addiction is pretty tragic, and I'm very happy that my character helped him out of that addiction. So he's kind of a bit more of a gruff character than Alistair was. A bit more of a dark, edgy character than, like, the sweet innocence of Alistair, who has, like, never even flirted with a woman before. But Cullen also was kind of bad at that. Yeah, Cullen is great. And I'm glad that he didn't hate me for choosing the mages. Next up, we're going to do Sarah. Oh, I have so many A's. There are so many A-tier characters. Sarah was one that at first I didn't really like. But she definitely grew on me as time went on. I was excited to have a rogue, an elf rogue in the party. And she, you know, checked those marks for me, but she was just a little too, like, hard to get along with at first. And I didn't like how she's super, like, anti-elf, because, as you know, I'm pretty pro-elf. But other than that, I thought she was a really cool character. And so I'm going to put her at A. I loved Sarah a lot. Okay, next up, we're going to go Dorian. So Dorian is my surprise S tier. So this is a very special place for him because he's like one of my non-romance options for the S tier. But Dorian was like the surprise MVP character for me in Dragon Age Inquisition. I had no idea how much I was gonna love Dorian when I first started playing the game. I had like looked at all of the characters that you could recruit, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I know I'm gonna love Solus, and I know that I'm gonna love freaking Liliana and Cullen and Josephine, and I was loving everybody. And then Dorian comes along, and he just steals the show. Honestly, he stole the show for me. I was just like, this guy is amazing. I love him so much. He's just sassy and well-educated and well put together, and had great conversations with him. He's a little flirty. He's just got a little bit of everything that just makes him a great character. So Dorian just stole the show for me. He was the MVP. I didn't know he was going to become a favorite character of mine when I first got into these games, and he ended up becoming a favorite character of mine. And I have to attribute a lot of that to the fact that that first quest that you do with him, if you side with the mages and you go back or you go forward in time, and Dorian helps you go back, that was probably one of the most impactful missions that I had played in Inquisition. And you get to know Dorian pretty well in that one, and I don't know, it was just like, it was a good memory that I have of the game. And he was associated with that memory, so that's why I really like him. And we're gonna do my other MVP, who is Varric. Varric is also S tier. There's no comparison to Varric. I don't think there's a single person who would not put Varric as an S tier for their, if they were doing this rating. Because he's just the best. Varric is an amazing character. And it's in both Dragon Age 2 and Origins, he's amazing. He's amazing in both. I think I really liked him in 2. I love his relationship with Hawke. I think their friendship, he was my best friend, really. He was Hawke's best friend. And I don't know. I thought he was just really great in 2. He was another kind of refreshing character. Him and Isabella added a bit of fun to the tenseness that was Fenris and Anders and Aveline. Like, everybody was so tense in the party, and you needed a couple of fun characters, and Varric was that. And then he shows up in Dragon Age Inquisition, and he is also an amazing character who's writing all these tales, and I love that he keeps himself a little bit shrouded in mystery still. Like in 2, he has this freaking crossbow named Bianca, and it's like, who is Bianca? And then you finally meet Bianca in Inquisition, and it was so good. I was so happy. So yeah, I just really enjoy Varric. He's such a well-wrote character. They did an amazing job writing this character. He's just one of the best characters, and he is, I've never been a huge fan of dwarf characters, but he happens to just be one of the best. So, Varric S tier. And his relationship with Cassandra was great. And I think the last one that we have here, oh God, last but not least, is the other betrayer, Egg Boy. Dead to me. On the dead to me list. How dare you, Solus? How dare you? Betrayer. Look at these 2 betrayers right here. You cross me, you get put on the F. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But in all seriousness, Solus he actually probably is one of my favorite characters in Inquisition. I had no idea he was going to be as impactful as he was. I knew there was something up with him. I knew there was more to Solus than he was leading on. I absolutely knew that, but I had no idea the actual impact that this man had on the entire campaign. Holy crap. I wanted him to redeem himself, but honestly, after playing Trespasser and his shitty explanation for why he did what he did wasn't enough for me. Honestly, it was not enough. I don't think I just feel like he was very much being very woe is me. I must do this thing for my people. And while I respect his dedication to his cause, and especially because I am very much an elf enthusiast, as we all know, as much as I respect his dedication to the cause, I just don't think he needed to do it this way. And his like reason for doing it just came off so so frustrating to me. So he really upset me. He hurt me. He hurt me the most out of any of these characters. He broke my heart. I really cared about him. As you guys saw throughout the entire game, every time I saw Solus, I was super happy. Anytime I knew I was going to get on Solus's good side, I did a decision to get on his good side. Like making Cole more of a spirit. I liked helping Solus in anything that he wanted. I wanted to try to help him. And he just went and... the words that he says at the end of the game, like, Inquisitor, I want you to know that, you know, no matter what happens, I always respected you. Oh, it just cut so deep. Those words cut deep. So he really cut me deep. And so, yeah, if you mess with me, you get put on the F list. So he's a beautifully written character, extremely tragic, and just another character that I think the writers did an amazing job with. But damn, who knew he was going to have such an impact on the entire campaign? Like, jeez, man. It was a lot to process. Like, I could not stop thinking about the end of the game after he did what he did. I just was like, what does this all mean? What's going on? Yeah, the writers knew this was true. It's like in Dragon Age 2, they gave us Anders, who, you know, who did something that was such a pivotal moment in the final act of the story. And then they give us, and you would think like we would be prepared for Inquisition. Like, okay, they might do something again where there's going to be a character who does such a pivotal thing. I didn't see it coming. It blindsided me. He blindsided me. Yeah, and there are references to him in other games. Oh my gosh, there's so much. It's super deep. I didn't realize how deep it was going to be, but it was super deep. So that's my list, everybody. I tried to reserve the S tier for the very most special characters. But however, the A tier were just the absolute gems of characters. Like, just... So S tier is, like, the best of the best. But honestly, these A tier characters were also just absolute gems of characters. I love how every character on this list is not so bland, where they have so much to them beyond what they just show you in their forefront. Like Meryl, who is like the sweet elf girl, but she's also like a blood mage and extremely dangerous. Isabella, like she's this pirate girl, but she has a lot more going on, that a lot of things in her past that she has to make up for. Morgan, who is, you know, we think is just the daughter of Flemeth, and Flemeth is going to take over her body, but there was clearly way more to that than we thought. And she still is, like, shrouded in this mystery where she has this child. And I don't know. She's a very interesting character. So, yeah. Cassandra, too. Like, she just seems like this kind of hard ass at first, and you're just like, but she just is actually, like, very much a softie. So, so many good characters. BioWare does a great job at writing their characters. That goes without saying. Like, when they add characters to the party, they don't make bland characters. They make very, very interesting characters that you can connect with and get very attached to very quickly. And that's something that is very important to me in an RPG, is how when there are people that I care about in the world, it makes me all the more invested and makes the stakes even higher, because I feel like this is like really lame, but I feel like I'm fighting for these people, you know? It's like, we gotta save the world, and I gotta do it for Cullen, you know? And Alistair, even though Alistair sacrificed himself, like, I'm like, I gotta do it for Varric. We gotta do it for the people we care about, you know? So when they make characters that I really care about, it makes the stakes even higher. That's how I feel about all RPGs. When I play D&D, when I play all these tabletop games, if I get invested with people, it's like all about the relationships for me. That's all that matters to me. Because what's the point of like having these epic stories and saving the world if you don't care about anybody? Like, if I didn't care about these people, why would I be invested in saving the world? Just like, it'd be just a game, you know? So that's my little sappy story for you all. My soapbox.